So, all right. I said, what is Whitney Houston's? What's Whitney Houston's favorite vegetable?
What's that?
Endive. Endive.
You can leave because motherfuckers don't even know what endive is. Look at
I'm
Tiff's
I'm
face. He's
motherfuckers.
about to Google it right
What
now.
what's a
It's like
what's an endive?
It's here's I put it in the other chat. It's like I don't think it's an onion, but it's not a cabbage. They're delicious.
Interesting. I guess it's a funny joke, but I'm more intrigued that I've never heard of this before.
I knew it. I felt it in my spirit.
Terra was like, nobody knows what. Oh man, okay. It's like a what is it, a shallot, but not. I
I
don't
can't
know.
remember if they're related to onions or cabbage, but I've cooked them and they're similar-ish to both. So I I just thought they were good, and that Italian lady that can't stop smiling made them. And I thought, yeah,
Okay.
Giada.
Well, I got a joke. What happens when an onion and a cabbage has a baby?
Uh-oh.
Endive. Okay. This is a 100% serious question. Your mom is trapped behind a door, right? Like she's locked in some, I don't know, some villain put her back there. Don't matter. She's trapped behind a door, a big heavy door, and the only way you can get this door down is to have a very powerful singer blow the door down. You can pick whatever singer from whatever era you want, but the singer, it has to be someone with a powerful voice that can knock this door down with their voice alone to save your mama. Who's it gonna be?
Jennifer Hudson old hollering ass.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Tim.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna be like topical and trendy, like maybe like Jack Black. The door down, door down.
I've never had that answer before, but I'll allow it. Usually, I get they go with their favorite singer, and I'm like, no, your mama's life is on the line.
Mm.
And they're like, I'm gonna go with Beyonce, and it's like, I mean,
Talent, but
your
power?
your
No.
power. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to
Power.
blow this door down. Okay, obviously, my answer is always Whitney Houston, and I'll give Adele a number 2, but it's always Whitney. So we used to have this argument. It was an ongoing argument at one of my jobs when I worked Eve shift, and the person who I'd always argue with, his answer was Patti LaBelle. So also good. Not Whitney though, but also good. So we had this thing where we'd also ask new people and anybody, security guards, whoever, who they got, and like we've heard some dumb shit. Like I said, uh, you got to save Mama with a powerful voice. And like one person said Mariah Carey, and I was like, the door isn't glass. If it was a glass door,
Okay.
Mariah Carey, but
Yes.
it's a heavy, heavy wood door, hardwood door. Like you got to.
I would also say Shaka Khan. Like I could go for some
Okay.
Shaka.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, y'all all wrong. It's Whitney's the answer, but I understand those are good answers. They're not Mariah Carey. They're not Beyonce, but you know.
Lauren the Hill.
So on that note, thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time with us, we're the secret group of brown kids. Who are the secret group of brown kids? It's a secret, but you might have seen us filling in seats at the 1994 American Music Awards. I'm your host, Tiff, aka Beyonce. That's a callback. And today we have Tim, of course, and Terra. I forgot AKAs for y'all. I forgot who was.
It's 3T. It's 3T again.
It's a 3T formation. I forgot which one of y'all was Kelly and which one was Michelle.
No, I don't remember if we picked.
Terra looks real confused. You don't. This is your joke.
I know. I just don't remember who picked that too. That's why I was like, wait, I don't remember either.
It's all right. I'm gonna let
We're both prepared to throw our hands up at you. So
that's okay. You are ready for this jelly. Um,
indeed.
I hope the audience is ready for this jelly. I hope Quebec and Singapore is ready for this jelly. Singapore being our other consistent listener, who's downloaded all the episodes and every week
That's
listens to the new one.
so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. I have no idea who Quebec is, no idea who Singapore is, but I love y'all. There's also 7 people from Virginia, and I don't know if they're consistent or not because I'm from Virginia, so it could be any number of friends that told about the podcast. But none of them talk about it, to me at least. So I don't know.
I don't know if it shows anybody from Seattle, but there's a couple of people over there that have been like, "Y'all are doing some cool stuff." One guy said he didn't
Okay,
even like podcasts,
there
and
is
he's
some. There's
enjoying
one
what we're
person
doing. So that's
from
cool.
Washington State, so that's
All
probably
right.
them. But yeah, shout out Singapore and Washington State and whichever number of friends that I can't tell. Anyway, today we are doing Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, released Christmas 2022 last year, and it just hit on Netflix. So if you're in the US, you can stream it on Netflix. And why this movie? Because I wanted to see it in theaters and I missed it. And it popped on streaming, and I was like, hey, let's do it. And
A
none of
lot of
y'all
these biopics
protested.
just slipped in real fast. Like as
So
soon as the Queen one came out, they
I,
just started coming out every
I
other
think
6 months.
that's what was Queen the first one back, because there's always cycles, and
Right.
there was a big one, and then we got boom a few more like right
Mhm.
after. I think Queen Bohemian Rhapsody was the first one. Coincidentally, the writer of that wrote this, which I'm gonna get into that later because I think that's a big factor.
You have a push pin for that one.
Yeah, so if I forget, bring it up. Remind me. So, what else about this movie? Directed by Cassie? I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Cassie Lemons, who also did Eve's Bayou and the Harriet Tubman movie.
Oh Lord.
I mean, Bayou
I'm
was good.
I'm I'm not a fan of the Harriet Tubman movie. I don't know if it was her fault or not. I think she kind of did the best with what she had to work with, but it wasn't what we wanted from a Harriet Tubman movie. The first one. She also did a couple other things: Caveman's Valentine, Black Nativity. I think I saw Black Nativity at like a Christmas or something, but I don't remember enough about it. And the writer, as we mentioned before, is the guy who wrote Bohemian Rhapsody, Anthony McCartan. Come back to him. And it stars Naomi Ackie, yay,
Yeah.
Stanley Tucci, Ashton Sanders, Tamara Tooney, who is always like, I don't know if she's ever starred in the movie, but when she's in it, like, she holds her own. She's good. Nafisa Williams, who I think I know her from Black Lightning, the Black Lightning CW show.
Mhm,
She was one of the daughters.
mhm.
And Clark Peters, not John Amos, Clark Peters.
You know what?
Yeah, when I first saw him on screen, I was like, "Is that John Amos?" And then I was like, "No, it's Clark Peters," and he's a
Damn,
he,
damn, damn. He looked damn the same.
that's because wait, nah, he does kind of resemble. Never mind. Yeah, I was confusing him with another old black actor.
Oh my god.
Not all black people look the same, friend.
I'm sorry. Look. You know what it is? He was in the Five Bloods with what's his name? She that guy.
I knew exactly who you meant. I always forget
look,
his name.
look.
Yeah, was he? They were putting that.
I don't often do this with black actors. I'll do it with white actors. I'm sorry, but like, there's like 3 sets of white actresses that I'll fuck it up. Like, one is Rhoda Mitchell, Rona Mitra, and then there's a third one that I already see. I can't even remember her name. See, you all don't even know who it is. Terra just
No,
gave up.
I thought you were
Uh,
trying to say Raul Manuel. That's not the
Another
same.
one is Naomi Watts.
Oh
Dang,
yeah.
I can't even remember the other ones. But yeah, she Poor Naomi Watts. Every movie she's in, she it's a struggle for her life.
Right. She couldn't even get a respite in Tank Girl. Like it was like, damn.
Like I think that's remember how we were talking about picking roles in the last episode? Like I think she purposely picks roles where it's like she has to fight for her life. It's a struggle. Like things just aren't going the way it's planned, and she has to try her best to overcome it. Because all of her roles was like that. Like at some point when I'm watching Naomi Watts movie, I'm like, I feel sorry for you. Like, is you okay? Uh, anyway, it's not Naomi Watts's episode, so box
We'll get
office.
to it.
So this had a budget of 45 million, and it only made 56 million. 23.7 domestic, 33 international, which isn't. It's not a flop, but I know the investors aren't happy.
Yeah.
Like after marketing, they probably just broke even, maybe. But they'll be all right. They rich. And I'm not going to give you a plot description because it's a biopic. It's about Whitney Houston's life. And finally, Rotten Tomatoes. Horrible critic score. Tomato meter 44%, but audience meter is 92. So no Kareem to
They
mess with that.
cleaned it up.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. I don't know if I should get into it at the top or the bottom of the episode, but real quick, that's kind of expected from biopics, especially ones about musicians, because I can't think of a musician biopic movie that isn't a nostalgia play, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like for an audience, if they love that musician, that artist, just showing up and as long as they play the songs, they'll love it regardless. Critics, they're watching it as an actual feature, they're watching it differently. So I get it. Also, all biopics kind of have the same flow, so they get tired real quick. You go in expecting, it's a biopic, whatever, and it always flows the same way, especially ones about musicians, because those have to hit the same notes. Like you always have to end on a big song, a big performance, stuff like that. So it is what it is. It's always going to be a kind of like a paint by numbers kind of thing. So I get it. I get it. I'm not surprised by the score. But a real quick spoiler warning. If you
If you say she dies,
look,
I swear.
I was ready to make this joke, and I started laughing too soon. But yeah, like it's a biopic. It's safe to say if you haven't seen the movie, if you're worried about spoilers, I don't know what to tell you. You can keep
Also,
listening.
if you haven't seen the movie and you were just recently born in like 2016 or something, I don't know, and you like you're unaware that she's passed away like a while ago
Yeah,
now.
A little bit.
actually, I'm sure there are some people who couldn't give less of a shit about this movie because Whitney meant nothing to them. But whatever, that's here or there. Anyway, spoiler warning, I guess. But we're gonna get into it. First off, how'd y'all feel about it? I want to dance with somebody.
Without like going into the full, how I would recommend it, I think overall they hit all the important stuff, and I learned stuff that I didn't actually know. So pretty
Okay.
cool.
Terra.
Um, I liked it. I do appreciate how like we all grew up with Whitney Houston, like literally at peaks in her career as well as unfortunately when she passed away. So I like how they kept certain things like very classy about her and didn't try and like drag her through the mud, considering that would have been very, very easy to
Yeah.
do. Considering that is what happened like while all that was going on and she was the butt of a lot of jokes. But
Yeah,
I did like it.
you
I
just made me realize they never did the crack as whack.
no,
Which okay.
no.
Yeah, very class. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So like I said, I appreciate that, especially in my big grown age now, and having seen people go through like substance abuse. Because when you're a teenager, it's always just like, or maybe not, but again, teenagers. Definitely sang a lot. Got a lot of chills watching it because it's Whitney and Sis could blow. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Also, I wasn't sure watching. I had to find this out after the fact. I wasn't sure watching if how much was Naomi Aki singing. I was like, maybe that helped her get cast because she could sing. But they did use Whitney's voice for the singing. I think it said 95% of the singing was Whitney, her actual voice. Which I should also mention, this is the third Whitney movie in a
Right.
decade. So like the first one was the Lifetime one, which I didn't see, but nobody liked. And judging by Terra's face, it was that bad.
Man, it's Lifetime.
Yeah, I mean I shouldn't have to say too much more. Which was actually directed by Angela Bassett, which blows my mind. But it's also Lifetime budget and
Yeah.
Lifetime producers though. So, and then there was a 2018 documentary which I did see, and that's like what kind of brought back like when it was amazing for me. And I didn't know a lot of things before that documentary, so I think that one actually had the blessing of not everybody, because a lot of people were mad about the documentary because they said it told too much or it lied on her, and we'll get into that in a bit. But that one, I think Pat Houston, her sister-in-law slash manager, I think she was involved with that one. She's definitely involved in this one. Her and Clive Davis on this one. So I think the folks who are disputing the legitimacy of the documentary and this movie should probably not die on that hill. But anyway, I really liked it. I recognize it was paint by the numbers biopic, but also I that's what biopics are to me. So whatever. I'm actually frustrated with the amount of hate it gets because I don't know niggas. I don't know like there a lot of it. It's really two criticisms. They're shitting on Naomi Aki for not looking like her enough, and not even not looking like her enough. Like they're just straight up shitting on her looks, and I'm like, this woman's gorgeous. Like you guys are evil, and they're shitting on Ashton Sanders, Bobby Brown, which I'll get into. Um, but otherwise, aside from it being standard form biopic, a giant life to run through in 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So you always get the same, just big moments kind of thing, and you're moving pretty fast through them. The only time that doesn't happen, and you don't see that with the musician biopics, is if they just choose to focus on a specific point in time or event for somebody. So, like, there's like two Steve Jobs movies, right? The Ashton Sanders one does the whole life, or at least I don't think you see him die in that one. But anyway, whole life, and then the Michael Fassbender one is a specific window.
You mean a specific apple?
So, oh shit.
I apologize.
Also, way to have a
Mm.
spoiler alert about Steve Jobs. Jeez.
How he gonna die and not work and still be called Steve Jobs?
Man, you're on a roll
Man,
today.
no, I'm not. I've been drinking coffee.
And then there's another great example is there's a Princess Diana one with what's her name? I don't want to say Twilight Girl. She's more than Twilight. I just can't remember. Kristen Stewart. Um, that was a specific like few weeks or something like window in Princess Diana's life, and it was good because it just focused on that one thing. You had the narrative, that movie folks care about because they don't quite understand that slice of life is a thing. But
Oh, the real laser focus ones, like
yeah,
when Barack it was like Barack and
in
uh
college,
yeah, like they were just on a
yeah.
date. The
Oh,
movie was
oh no,
basically
that was
them.
the other Barack movie. There's two Barack
Hmm.
movies.
They're
Not
just on a
Barry,
date. It was
Southside
like
with You, which is a we should do Southside with You at some point.
yeah,
We might
I
lose
was
some
it was
listeners because
I was actually
especially like international, like presidents are real touchy.
yeah.
I found out trying to debate about the Barack movies. But if you take all that other political stuff aside, like that movie is beautiful. But yeah, like it's just them on a date, Michelle and Barack on a date, and yeah. So real specific ones. But though you don't usually see those with musicians, because when you do a musician biopic, people want to, the music. They care about the music, so they got to do the whole thing, how they started, how they ended, the big performances, yada yada. So it's unfortunate in that sense, I know there's one that exists, but I can't think of it. But it don't matter because Whitney, this one's the overarching life biopic. Anyway, so I knew that's a major criticism, and then I don't I rebuke the Naomi Ackie criticisms, but I'm gonna get into that. And the Ashton Sanders one, I'll talk on it, but that's a thing. So those are the three big ones about the movie. But I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, getting into the movie. All right, we start out in 1994 at the American Music Awards with Whitney about to start one of her iconic performances, and then it flashes back to 1983, New Jersey, when she was young and singing in church, right? And then after the church scene, or well, she's still in church, after the church service, we see her practicing with her mom, Sissy Houston. And her mom was getting on her for not nailing the melody, but still adding in her little, fancy flourishes. But Whitney was clearly over it. But she nailed it, though. She got it together. Next, we see Whitney meeting Robin at the park. And immediately Robin asks her, like, who she is and, Robin asks her who she is, and she starts getting into, where Whitney starts getting into all the singers in the family, and like Robin's impressed, but like you can tell Robin's flirting. And then next we see like Robin and Whitney, or Robin at one of Whitney's mother's shows, and like Whitney's singing backup, but we see Robin smiling at Whitney, but we also see like Robin like checking out was it a waitress or something, and the mom notices all of this because, of course, mother eyes. And then we see like Whitney's parents fighting back at the house, and that upsets her. So she goes upstairs to her brother's room, and like they bring her in, and then they're in there smoking weed. Uh, and then it cuts to like her hanging out with Robin, and like they're smoking weed on the playground, and then we see them kissing. And next thing you know, Whitney's moving out of her mama's house and in with Robin, and Mama big mad. And this is all super fast. I don't even think we really.
This movie.
Oh, it moves.
It just was like
it's.
I know I got 2 hours and 20 minutes, but I gotta go.
Look, 2 hours. And like here's the thing. Like that's how that like it. There's a lot of ground to cover. Like Whitney is a huge figure, and they skipped a lot of stuff. But they had to, otherwise this movie would have. That's why sometimes some things work more or work better as miniseries if you want to get everything in. But if you want to have a movie, you can't get everything in, which is one of the criticisms I hear people talk about. But I thought it got enough in.
This would have been a good miniseries. I'm not gonna hold you. Like when you mentioned that, I was like, it would have been a really good miniseries.
Yeah, I can't deny that. I mean, I'm Mr. Movie Man. I like movies. I like things to have, a start and an end, and we take care of it in a.
I love a defined end, even when it is a series. Like every once in a while, I'll hear about something cool going on in One Piece, and I'm like, I just can't.
Look,
that's going. One Piece gonna be over when my kids grow up. I don't even have kids yet. I don't have one kid.
Look,
one kid. It's like One Piece.
Your dog in the corner, like. But yeah,
I've been through 2 dogs. One Piece ain't over. I'm sorry.
No, that's not funny. That's not funny.
Was that too much? I didn't think that was.
It's just the way that you said it. My man said, I've been through 2 dogs. One Piece ain't even over yet. Your dogs in the afterlife are like, the fuck, guy? Like, I didn't ask to be brought into this at all. And here I am.
Dang.
Sorry.
I thought I brought him the best years of his life just to be compared to One Piece. Doggy heaven. They crossed the Rainbow Bridge like.
I'm sorry.
R.I.P. to some real ones. R.I.P. to Tim's dogs.
Peace out, Mouse. I know you're looking down on me going.
don't even remember what I was saying. So
we were talking about the speed of the movie, but
oh yeah,
you were right around her moving out of the house.
yeah, yeah. The movie moves, to say the least, like breakneck speeds. It slows down from to like at like some of the big moments, but like this setup, whoosh. So yeah, so now we're at a show, and it's Sissy Houston's show, and she's backstage fussing at Whitney, and then she sees Clive Davis sit down in the audience, and then she pretends to lose her voice, and she's like, "Whitney, you got to sing the opening solo, the greatest love of all. My voice is gone." And she's like, "Well, you just had it a second ago when you were yelling at me." But Whitney goes up there, sings the greatest love of all. She kills it, of course, and Clive is super impressed. I gotta say, pause. The greatest love of all. I can't hear that song without thinking of Coming to America and Randy Watson's Sexual Chocolate.
Yes.
I believe the children are the future.
I feel like the best part about that whole scene was the part when she was like, "But you were just yelling at me." She's like, "That's why I just lost my voice. Now go out and sing." And I was like, "Wow, what a real
Right?
moment!"
Yeah.
Right?
Like, how much of this was ad
Like
Like
lib?
real mom.
that's a
Real
black
mom.
mom. Yes. Now go.
Also, it was just difficult because I only see Tamara Tooney as like Law and Order SVU, my
That's
favorite
where she's
doctor.
from.
So
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
that's
I'm not a
right.
big Law and Order head, but as soon as you said that, I knew exactly. Okay, got it.
yeah,
But she's
That.
great.
yeah. As
She's
much as
great.
like she is
She can sing
great,
too.
but that wig though.
I'm pretty sure that
Ooh,
was her
whoa.
singing for her parts, obviously.
Anyway,
Yeah.
carry on.
So
Sorry, just want to throw that out there.
Clive is impressed, and right away, Inky Whitney inks a record deal with Clive and Arista Records, right? Then we right as soon as like she signs and everything, and Clive kicks everybody out the office, and so he could chat with her, and he asks her what kind of music or what type of song she likes to do, and she says she likes to sing great big songs that are like climbing a mountain, songs that she really has to sing her raggedy ass off to sell, right? And Clive's like, so like gospel, country, black, white, and Whitney's like, all the above. So Clive says, all right, we'll hire some of the best songwriters to write her a great big song because she doesn't write herself.
Kingship.
No, she sings, she don't write, which ain't a big
Kingship.
deal, right?
No, not really.
Unless you're a rapper.
With a voice like that?
Well, yeah, it is weird when it's rap.
Yeah, rap is
That's one of the
different.
odd
Yeah,
kind of.
but outside of rap, not all people that can sing write songs or can write songs.
But
So it's not a big
be
deal.
to be a little too nerdy about it, technically
Mhm.
the very first popular rap song had someone in it rhyming somebody else's words. So
I
I hate that set that precedent that
dang,
technically that's normal.
I didn't even
Rapper's
know that.
Delight.
Rapper's Delight
Rappers
was written by somebody else. It wasn't written
well,
by Sugar Hill
one of
Gang.
the guy's verses were from someone else. He just
Okay,
has somebody else's book and just used their and you can
please
look it
don't
up.
please don't tell
It,
me it's not. I'm 6'1" and tons of fun. That's not the.
oh no, I'm not sure which one I think
Okay,
it's the small dude.
okay, all right.
Forgive me for not knowing the names of the guys
It's
from
all
Rapper's
right.
Delight.
It's
Uh,
all right.
but yeah, as a songwriter myself, I don't begrudge a singer who is like, I have the tool,
Yeah,
but I need people to
I was
assist
gonna
me.
say, with a voice like Whitney, she honestly didn't need to write. She
nah.
really just needed to be like, "Hey, girl, get up there and sing."
And
Like,
then
that's all we need you to do.
you like be able to sing and then have musicality. That's the word, right? Music. Like
Yeah.
she knew,
Mhm.
like okay, these are the words, but this is how it needs to be delivered. This is the speed it needs to be delivered. Like she got that from her mom because
Mhm.
uh, at some point you see her. Oh, we're about to get to
Like you don't have Bubba Wallace build a
it.
car. He drives.
Yeah, yeah. See, and that's a great analogy. I get it. So now we get her public debut scene with Clive Davis, and he presents her on the Merv Griffin show, and she sings "Home." We get a moment where her mom is backstage fussing because her skin tone is off, because the lighting is wrong, and then the musicians weren't playing they were playing the song too slow. So she gets up in front of the piano player and starts bossing them around. She's like, pick it up. That was hilarious. And like, when the camera was on Whitney, you can see like the musicians were behind the curtain, but it was kind of a slightly see-through curtain, so you can see the mom kind of in the background.
That
was hilarious.
Shout out to all the band kids who have had their fucking instructors literally that same shit where it's like, make it go faster.
Man,
hurts. It hurts.
We might do
Shout out to
Whiplash
Mr. Whitberg.
one week. Whiplash is oof. Y'all ever seen that?
I've only seen half that movie because I was at a commune and all the white people would not stop talking, and I was like, I just want to watch this thing that you put on. Like, it felt like worse than being in a podcast. It was like, it's just shut up. What's in this weed? Because it's not doing this to me.
Then we get the typical musician biopic montage of her in the recording studio, and we see her trying out different songs, and we get a few familiar ones, but she settles on pulling together "How Will I Know," right? And we get bits of the music video shoot in the montage as well. So I was trying to I couldn't figure out how I wanted to do this. Like, how do we get to the?
How do you know?
How will I know what your favorite songs are? So just if you want to sing something, I don't know, just jump in, right? Because I know what my favorites are. Like,
let's see.
How will I know?
Queen of the Night.
Come on, like that did. Well, I could just say it. Like, when I was a young man and I first saw that music video, I was like, wow, girls are great. Like, it was just like that seems good. Oh yeah. And I loved that song. It was like one of my favorites. Where did Nippy come from, though?
Yeah, so I was thinking about that too, because black people just be giving family members names. It doesn't matter, but at the same time, like how they get to it, they'll never address it. Nobody.
Yeah, I know a grown man. They call him Spunkum. Spunkum. I don't know what it is. I think his real name is Leslie, and it's just like,
nah, we gonna call you Spunkum.
I was like, okay.
Like, they named him when he was 3, and
they were like, do over, Spunkum.
Terra, do you have a?
Yes, I have 3 favorite Whitney
songs.
No, I meant
a
Queen
name.
of the Night.
Oh,
name?
Oh, you asked her. She got a nickname.
I do have a
Isn't
nickname.
It
no. Yeah, mine is Buddha, because when I was a baby, I was fat and my aunt's Chinese, and so there's that.
So I mean, that worked out, but your aunt didn't have to be Chinese for. I knew a Buddha also. But anyway, what are your favorite Whitney songs? Since I'm gonna stop derailing this.
No, you're fine. Queen of the Night.
Yeah.
I'm Your Baby Tonight, and I Will Always Love You.
Okay, I'm gonna get to mine later. So yeah, next we got a scene where Robin wakes up Whitney, and she's like, "Your song's playing on the radio," and they're all excited. And Whitney asks Robin to be a manager, and Robin agrees. She messes with her first. She's like, "You can't afford me," but she's like, Whitney, your mom's never gonna go for me being your manager. She hate me. And she's like, "Well, we gonna go to Daddy then." So I forgot what her father does, but I think he manages the mom. I know that, but like he had an office, right?
Yeah.
He also had like assistants and stuff, because this is a running joke that they never quite address in the movie, is that Whitney knows her dad cheats on the mom, or at least like keeps these young girls around. So every time
he practically got caught. So
yeah, every time she comes in and like one of the secretaries or whatever is around him, she's always like, "Bye." And he talked to my daddy alone.
Get out the room.
Look, I'm gonna say this all episode. Naomi Ackie acted her ass off, and this was one of the moments where, or one of the things where I kept noticing, like, she nailed that, like, get out my face look, because she does it
No, like
3 or 4 different times in the
she
movie.
got those Whitney, because those were the
The
moments that I
Whitneyisms,
started.
yeah.
Yeah, I started to really. I guess everybody, when you start to see those sides of Whitney
Hmm.
Houston, it was like, okay, so you just don't mess with her.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, the
cool.
diva side.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I remember, who was it? It was Whitney and Mariah Carey had, like, a frenemy beef.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think it was full on beef, but they were definitely like frenemies, and like, because they did like a performance together, and it was a huge deal, right? Because, oh, you got the two biggest divas in the game, working with each other. Wait, wasn't that for Prince of Egypt? I don't know. I have to double check that.
Oh, I hadn't
I
thought
can't
about that
remember.
forever.
I forgot about
Yeah.
that. Damn.
Uh,
My lord.
but yeah, like, because that's a huge deal. Because like Whitney was a diva, so like you saw her go from, they never say it, but if you're paying attention, you see her start out real humble, and she starts getting these moments where like she gets buck with people, and man, Naomi Aki nailed those moments.
Definitely.
Well, you got to remember though, like they called Whitney
Yeah,
princess. Like before she was America's princess, her dad was like,
you're my
"You're my
princess.
princess, you're my
Yeah.
princess," and mom would be like, "You got this, princess." So it was instilled in her, and it seems I believe she was the only daughter, like in the family, and was probably the youngest. So unfortunately, to a certain degree, that mentality can persist.
Oh,
And then you find out
100%.
you got vocals. Hmm?
That's 100%. And you got that power. Mm.
Right, and her mom also had diva
Mm.
tendencies,
Oh
so
yeah.
it's not surprised that even like
Yeah.
her picking
My,
up shit. Dionne
yeah.
Warwick is her aunt, bro. Like she had bad bitches all
It's in
around
her
her,
blood.
and anybody
It's in her blood. Like she started. That's how she explained herself to Robin on the park. It was like, yeah, my mom's Sissy Houston, my first cousin's Dionne Warwick, and all of us can sing. So sorry, aunt.
family
Yeah,
member.
she in there somewhere, right?
Babbage's all around me because game don't stop.
Oh man. So, but yeah, so she goes to your dad, and like, they go to her dad's office, and he doesn't like the idea, but he tells them, okay, this is what you do. You go in public, and you be seen with boys. You go on public dates with
This
boys.
felt so rude. I
Yes,
hated
but
that.
he a rude dude to begin with, but also like the time, and it's one of those things where this scene specifically, like, it kind of lets you know a lot more than what was said. So
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm not sure if I'm reading it right. I'm not sure if the dad knew Whitney liked girls, or if the dad just knew that
I think he
Whitney and
was putting
Robin,
that out there.
yeah, were together, but he already like knew and accepted it. But he knew, but he didn't care enough, right, about it. He just cares about the money
Public
and
public
public
image.
persona. So
Just
he's like, just this is what you let the public think of you, and that's all. And then we can go from there. And but Robin was like, nah, like I'm not gonna do that. Like she was real upfront that,
Nigga, I'm a
yeah,
lesbian.
she didn't
I
say it, but she said no to him, and then he was like, okay, that's what I thought. Like you just confirmed my suspicions, kind of thing. And then but he still went back and said, just be seen in public with boys. Like that was his criteria. And Robin was 100% against it. But like, and he might have been against them being together, but he wasn't going to stop them. He just said, be seen in public, like basically hide it, right?
yeah.
And at this point, this is what is it? This is 83, I think. So, yes, it's not 2023, that's for sure. It's not right.
But it's okay.
I was like, please don't leave me hanging.
awful, the both of you.
You sick of us? Oh man. Uh, so yeah, then we see Whitney recording with Jermaine Jackson, and one of the audio engineers is like, "Man, they have good chemistry." And then we see Whitney at home telling Robin she slept with Jermaine, and Robin loses
That was such
it.
a. I had to
Man,
rewind this movie twice because I was like, wait, what? That was abrupt.
Whitney really said. Whitney said, "Thug life. I'm gonna go home to my
Look,
girlfriend
Daddy
and be
said,
like, hey, yo, I fucked this dude."
and like, look, this
What?
is the wild shit to me, but it goes into you mentioning that she already had princess mentality. Because I'm not going to get into that whole thing, the mentalities and all that, or at least how it was explained to me. But her having the audacity to just go tell Robin when clearly y'all were a thing, right? Like, you might not have ever said it out loud, but y'all were living together, sleeping together, like it's a thing, right? That, yeah, I slept with Jermaine Jackson. And like it
Real
was
cash. Real cash. Real cash. Like, she went to McDonald's and was like, I went to McDonald's and got a double
right.
cheeseburger and some
And like
fries. Like,
Nafisa Williams
I'm over here with
sells
dinner.
this
What you
part
doing?
because that flip, like you get like a quick second of her like, did you really just you just gonna tell like she, that quick second like, oh, you what? You just came out your mouth and said that, and then she starts flipping out and like she destroys the vacuum and flips the tape. It was kind of funny. Uh,
it was so it was so gentle though. Like, it was the gentlest rage I had ever seen. She was just like,
I mean,
I'm
meh.
so
she
mad. I'm
slowly
gonna break
flipped the
every.
table, and then I forgot at some point Whitney says something else, and she like RKO's the vacuum cleaner. Like I don't know why I was fixated on that vacuum cleaner, but it was funny to me. Yeah, like
And he's like, I'm not cleaning up this apartment. I'm not cleaning up. I don't know who's gonna clean this up. I was like,
oh
wow.
man.
Bird.
Whitney's like, we agreed to see guys, and Robin's like, guys, and Robin goes, but we didn't agree to screw him. Whitney gets mad at Robin because she's smashing up the place, and she just starts eating ice cream.
No, that was classic. She's still mad
She's
too.
still
She goes
mad.
to the kitchen, comes back, slaps herself down in the chair. She's eat ice cream like, I don't know why you acting mad.
Honestly, it makes me want to go get ice cream right now,
I
like straight
did.
out the
Look,
fridge.
I got up and got ice cream. I was like, me too.
I was weak through this whole thing. Whitney says she wants a family, a husband, faith. She says she wants a husband, faith, and family. And Robin's like,
Mm.
Robin tells her she loves her and they can love each other. And Whitney responds, "You can go to hell." Wait, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
She goes, "We can go to hell for this kind of shit. I don't want to go to hell."
Like, ma'am,
This is when
ma'am, you done did
look,
it.
like this is
What
when
you trying
Robin
to?
RKO's the vacuum. We can go to hell for this kind of shit. I don't want to go to hell. Robin RKO's the vacuum cleaner, and like Whitney goes and sits next to her, and like he's like, you're my best friend, and
Wow.
yeah,
Toxic. Toxic.
Wow.
Whitney Houston pulled a Drake. Drake took his lines from Whitney Houston. He must have been, I don't know, but that was a toxic ass move, Whitney.
oh man, like she knows she wrong. She started off wrong, just like, hey, by the way, I slept with Jermaine Jackson. Like
Just
you
the directness.
look, but you're my best friend. Just stick with me. And Robin sticks with her. Like,
Forever.
damn. Next, we see Whitney with Clive Davis, and they're picking songs, and she picks "I Want to Dance with Somebody," the titular song.
Yeah.
But the scene, they kind of make it imply like it's about her wanting to be with Robin, but she can't. Which we don't know. Maybe,
Uh,
right? Uh,
Probably. I'd be willing to go out on
yeah,
a
it's
limb.
not.
that's plausible.
Yeah,
Good work.
I don't know what else it is. I mean, she didn't write the song, so it's
But
not like
they did give the feeling, or like they
that's why
alluded
she picked
to
it.
her picking songs about what she's got going on, which is
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah, which is fair because she turned the one song down early on and then came back and sung it when she was going through shit later on. I get it.
I ain't had no lost love. I ain't tired. I'm tired. And ain't nobody gonna listen to this song.
Ain't no
Sad.
man gonna
It's
do ain't no man gonna do me like that. I leave him first. I was like,
Aha,
girl.
aha.
that was a lie.
A lie detector determined.
Freeze frame, record
Oh,
scratch. You might be wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Bobby Brown walking around like on the other side of the country, like, y'all, do y'all back of y'all ears itch? I feel like somebody already talking about me. Don't even know who I am.
Oh man, but yeah, so we get another montage with the I Want to Dance with Somebody video, and like now she's like, she's a big deal. She's living it up because it was #1 on the charts, and Clive Davis told her every time she gets the #1 single, he gets her a bottle of Dawn.
King shit once
Yeah.
again. All right.
And then we get the radio interview where he asked her to respond to criticism of her music not being black enough and that she's a sellout. And like this was one of the, guess this was the second time where that Whitney attitude came out and she clapped back. I didn't write it down verbatim, but it was pretty good.
That was well acted because it
Yeah.
was so reminiscent of those times where Whitney was like, "Listen, you want to get smacked in the mouth? Because I'll do it." It was just like
Look,
she was just.
This was the second or third time that I was like, "Damn, Naomi Aki's acting her ass off." Like it was, it was perfect. Then we see Whitney move into a mansion, and her dad living it up, handing out the black MasterCards to all his little secretaries. That scene made my. I was so mad.
Hot.
He walked through the office, like just the energy. He just knew he was the shit, And he says it later on, like, I'm the boss. He walking around handing out black cards, no limits, to all 18 of his little girl secretaries. Oh man,
all the hoes. Do you know? Like that's the equivalent of like Camilla or whatever old girl's name is. Like the memes lately of her coming out where it's like, damn, I didn't even know the side chick could become the queen either, and yet here I am. It's like that same equivalent energy of being like, damn, I ain't even fucking him, but I get a black card. Like, wow, what a way to come up in the world.
And you know, all of those women knew and just looked at each other like, we got this. We all in.
We made it. Where was I? Where was I during this time?
Not born
Besides,
yet.
like, probably sperm and an egg.
Oh no, I don't think you were born yet.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was probably still a sperm and an egg, but I really had a missed opportunity, universe.
I think I was already 30. I was 30.
You're in the movie.
I'm the bartender.
I saw you at the 1994 American Music Awards. I was a seat filler.
Oh god.
Oh man. So then we see Whitney's dad telling her to fire Robin because the tabloids are noticing that they're real close, right? And like Whitney reminds Daddy that he works for her. And he didn't like that. At first, I thought that she fired him, but she didn't fire him yet.
Mm-hmm. But it was a very clear, yeah, I know you're my manager because I'm your boss. You work for me.
Oh, he did not like that. And
the tabloids is like, is Whitney Houston's friend hair kind of short? You know what I'm saying?
Look, they said that like 8 times in the movie. Why you wear your hair so short? She's like, "Cause that's
get them girls some wigs.
It's easier to maintain. Like, grow your hair out. They just kept mentioning how short her hair is. But like that was all. But that was like black code. Like,
yeah, it was.
That's how black folks say it without saying it. Like, hey, girl, your hair real short.
The woman who has been a bald-headed scallywag, the second anytime that your hair gets cut, it's a problem. What you going through? What's wrong? What man hurt you? Or I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Okay. That was her responses. It was easier to maintain.
Yeah, nothing beats just rolling out of bed, bitch. Like nothing, and just being like, done.
Look, half the time when I cut my beard is because I don't want to. Like, it saves time trying to get to work because I'm always late.
This is the product of not enjoying the process of shaving. Mm-hmm. One of my friends was like, "Oh, but aren't you like non-binary?" I was like, "That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is still laziness." Non-binary means I don't have to conform to anything.
Which one?
Wait, Tim, what are your pronouns? I've never asked. I didn't know this.
I accept he because I am 90 years old, and it's you turning back time is difficult. I don't fight anybody on stuff. I have a hard enough time being brown as it is, but I accept they.
Thank you. Good to know.
But if somebody starts to get on my case about the way I present, I will cut somebody. Somebody was like, "You for being non-binary, you sure do present male. Buy me some clothes, bitch." Also, non-binary coded clothes are boring. That you look like you're in like some sort of like gay military. That's it. Like a gay warehouse worker, like a slightly gay warehouse worker. That's what they all look like.
I'm gonna go cry. Okay, I'm gonna go
Look at me.
leave and
Look at
cry.
me. I'm in the non-binary warehouse. We wear a lot of gray and sometimes fuchsia for fun.
I'm weak.
It's just me and Robin cutting our hair short and getting on everybody's nerves.
Oh.
So you should have maintained. Okay, so next we get the Soul Train Awards scene where she meets Bobby Brown, and you know she wasn't just flirting with him, like she was flirting hard, like when she was smacking him over the head with the purse. So I'm sorry. Oh, I'm gonna look this way now. But yeah, and when they mentioned Whitney's nomination, the crowd boos her. And like Whitney's real taken aback, like, are they booing me? And Bobby turns around and he tells her, don't even worry about it. They all dogs. And like this was the moment where she just fell in love with them. She tells Robin to give her a pen and a business card, and she writes her digits down and gives it to him right there. She tells Robin, give me a business card and a pen.
Robin like, really?
Poor
This
Robin.
one right here? Right? That one right there?
And like we'll get to it in a second. She tells her how she feels about him. Then we see Whitney back in Clive Davis's office, and she wanted to transition more to R&B because, I mean, we don't know for sure, but we're assuming that affected her, how black people were treating her, and it paid off.
Which is
What'd you say?
To me, I said, which is interesting to me because as far as I knew, niggas loved Whitney Houston.
This is all stuff I didn't hear about happening to Whitney Houston, but I heard it happen to Mariah Carey kind of often.
See, here's the thing. I didn't know about the Mariah Carey thing, and this happened before I was born to Whitney. So when, as far back as I can remember, Whitney was already like icon status for black people. So I didn't know about this until the documentary. That's when I learned everything about Whitney, pretty much. And I said, "Oh, that's wild!" Like I
wouldn't even thought of that because everybody was doing music that was sort of just like right down the lane of like just
especially in the
high
80s.
Energy and pop.
Yeah, that's
just,
all
everything
of it
had that vibe. So for somebody to be like, "She not black enough," I was just like,
and I could be wrong, but even
I would have missed that.
Like, listen, think about like what plays on like the old R&B station, right? Like you got like your 70s R&B, and you got your 90s R&B. But all the 80s stuff is real poppy.
Our local old school station, I think somebody in there has a real crush on I can't think of her, Jody Watley. They played there were 4 popular Jody Watley songs back when she was hot. They play 6 Jody Watley songs per day. Somebody got a crush on Jody Watley, but she had that sound too. Just the like everything. I don't know. It feels weird to hear that people thought she wasn't black enough because was she just supposed to be doing gospel only? That's
right.
Yeah.
And Whitney wasn't even light skinned. Like she was brown skinned and everything. And this was like not necessarily during the.
I'll be the first one to say that yes, for the first 2 songs, I just thought that Mariah Carey was a white person. I mean, if you go back and look at her earliest videos, you just be like, "Was she Greek?" But
in terms
then
of
later
white
on,
rights,
it was like, it's more obvious much later on.
Yeah, like
that baby had to grow into her color. That's all.
She's what folks would call passing, right?
Oh like dear Lord!
Yeah,
save the paper bag. Yeah, you ain't gonna need it.
Yeah, which is another movie I'd like us to watch one day. Anyway, so the move to R&B paid off because next we get a scene with Whitney and Bobby, and we hear someone say that the king and queen of R&B, and they're arriving to an award show. I didn't catch which award show it was, but she was nominated for like 4 different nominations under 4 different awards under R&B. So worked out, as we know.
Well, yes, that's remember Clive was like, well, Babyface and L.A. Reid, two of the realists in the
Yeah,
game, especially during that
yeah,
time,
they're doing some real.
are, yeah, or doing some real work. You wanna see what that's about? She was like, yeah, I guess.
Mhm.
And
You said
fuck
black
around and you
writers. I
find
could
out.
fire all these other people. I'll make it
Mhm.
easier for us to pick good songs. We won't have to listen to these trash ones anymore. Would that be easy for you? He was real smooth about it. If he was portrayed like
Mhm,
he is in real life, I love him because he very much was just kind of like, you've got the talent. I'm just going to help you pick the right songs.
mhm. I don't know what he's like in real life, but I will say he is a producer on the movie, so he.
Got to make me look good.
Yeah.
Really, Tucci? Nobody younger?
Oh yeah, but he definitely in the movie is an angel. And then we see okay, this is the scene. We see Whitney and Robin hanging out in the car, ragging on each other, right? And like Robin tells Whitney she thinks Bobby's a hoe.
Oh.
Whitney denies it. And then Robin gets a phone call from a girl she's seen, and like Whitney teases her. So it's like we know what Robin thinks of Bobby, but also Robin's living her own life, and good for her, you know. So, but they're also still best friends. So like it's like everybody's winning to an extent right now.
Yeah, and I bet Robin was a fine stud back in the day too. So I know she was probably having just like all the hoes, respectfully to the hoes,
It's like,
to
oh, you
Robin for
mean
that
you
matter. But
used to date Whitney Houston? Hi.
It's probably how the tabloids were getting info. Anyway,
Oh.
Robin's girlfriend.
shit, actually, you probably couldn't be
Sure,
wrong.
might be her brothers. Who knows? Might have been Pat because Pat's the executive producer on this, and I think on the documentary. Anyway, so then we see Whitney and Bobby in a limo making out, and Bobby proposes to her, and she accepts, but immediately Bobby tells her he got somebody pregnant.
No, see, that's like,
Oh,
okay. I'm gonna just because like I think I've explained before, because of the way I speak and the pattern of my voice, I'm not loose on juice right now. That's real N-word attitude.
I'll say it. That's big nigga energy.
Because it was like he was like, man, I just want to be with you for the rest of my life. By the way,
And she's like, yes. And he's like, oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so relieved. By the way,
My girl pregnant, my ex girlfriend pregnant, and
I don't think we
I just
ever
really had to get that off my
we never
chest.
see her in the movie, right? He said he said
mm-mm.
Kim. I don't know
Kim,
who are we supposed to know who Kim is?
I'm not sure.
Like if she's somebody famous. Okay, I don't know enough to know, but I do know that Nafisa Williams played Kim or a Kim in the Lifetime
Oh,
movie.
they
Fun,
trying to
you
they
see,
trying to out somebody.
but that's kind of funny, right? Now I want to go see the Lifetime movie to know if she played that character, but
Yeah.
now she plays Robin. Isn't that goofy? Anyway, uh,
Ooh. She got to be in both. That's actually really cool, actually.
yeah, shout out. But anyway, yeah. So Robbie told Rob or Bobby, sorry, Rob. Jesus, Bobby tells Whitney he got somebody pregnant, and Whitney flips out, makes the limo stop, and she runs out in traffic, and Bobby runs out after her, begging her to stay, and she does. Uh, this was
real ratchet
hilarious.
shit, by the way. Real
This
ratchet
this
moment
was one of
in
the
Black
first
History.
like glimpses of them being crazy together, and I didn't watch the show. I was still, well, I don't think I was young. I was grown enough to watch the show, but I was never really big into reality shows. But the Bobby and Whitney reality show, the little bit I've seen of it, this was 100% that. Like that energy that I remember from the bit I saw was
Maybe that
recaptured
was
in
the
this scene.
idea, is they
Yeah,
slipped this in there so they didn't have to cover the show, because the
yeah,
show was messy.
yeah. They didn't even mention the show, but yeah,
Yeah.
which back to what Terra said, it was very classy. They didn't talk about the messy show. They didn't talk about crack is whack. Shoot, I had to rewind a few times to notice some of the drug stuff. But yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
how you know what? Thumbs down to Taylor Hanson's tacky ass for giving her all that crap. I don't know if they meant to pick somebody that looked just like Bop, but that's what they did.
Look, that was the code word.
Let me get your autograph. Bop.
Look, I say this later on in my notes, but I remember there was a scene with them leaving somewhere in a limo, and the camera held too long on this white dude with long hair
Yep, that
in the
was when
crowd.
she was.
And I
Yep.
was like, why did they? That's a weird shot. Why did they linger on him? Why did they? Like, it bugged the mess out of me for an hour before we see him again. Yeah. Anyway,
Bum, bum, bum.
because we don't see the transaction, right? We just see him, and it held long enough.
He's like, "Can I have your autograph, Whitney?" And she's like, "Yeah."
And that was it. But then it held on him way too long after she pulled off. I was like, why did it stay? Was that bad editing? And like, it really irked me.
Payoff.
Yeah. I should have trust the process, right?
We got you, Tiff.
I think I just had it in my head that like people hated this movie. So anytime that's why I really try to avoid like hearing things about movies before I watch them. Some you can't, like, because if I don't see it in theaters, then it's a wrap, right?
That's a good point.
So I had in the back of my head that people didn't like this movie, and I was like, what was that? Was that bad editing? Do I not like this movie? Anyway.
Were the critics right?
So then we're seeing her film The Bodyguard. And like Whitney had asked Clive if she could do a movie, and he went and found one for her because Clive's an angel, right? And during the filming, turns out she was pregnant, but she lost the baby. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I didn't. I forgot. I don't know.
I didn't know that Kevin Costner requested her
I
personally.
didn't know that either.
Wild.
Wait. Say that again.
That Kevin Costner requested her personally. Because remember, she was like, I don't want to do this script.
She
like, this
right
script is trash. And then Clive was like, Kevin said he wants you. She was like, Kevin who? Kevin Costner? She said, sounds great.
Did I miss that part? I didn't know that either. That's funny.
How about the actingception at this part?
Which was wild.
She was acting as Whitney Houston, who is acting in a movie. I was like, you know what? I love this.
Layers. 3 layers deep.
It just felt like, is she thinking this as she's doing it, or is she just like chilling out and just reading lines? Because damn,
we need you to act like you're acting. Like you're acting. That's funny. So then we see Whitney backstage, and Clive tells her that the songs in the movie aren't doing her any justice. And if the songs are bigger, then the character will be bigger. And he tells her that Kevin Costner, her Bodyguard co-star, found a Dolly Parton song, and I Will Always Love You, and he suggested that she sang the song. I didn't know that.
Kevin Costner just didn't have anything else to do with his life. He's like, I love Whitney Houston. I just want her in a movie. Don't really give a fuck about anything else. Like,
I get it. Like,
Waterworld is his only mistake. And even now, if you go back and watch the movie, there's so much potential. They just should have had other people involved. If Fury Road can work, then Waterworld should have worked.
I get that. But
and honestly, this was like Whitney Houston at her peak fineness. So I know the tension was just like thick of Kevin Costner being willing to risk it all for this married Black woman who postponed her wedding to do this movie. And Kevin Costner's like, I'll risk it for the biscuit. I don't care.
And I need to go back and watch The Bodyguard because I was really young the last time I saw it.
It's been a few years since I've seen that, actually. I loved that.
I bet you we're going to go back and watch it, and it's like, well, they're not even acting.
They
Kevin Costner actually really got shot for her in real life. Did you know that?
He wanted her for
That's
the
not.
movie, and he picked the song, which became an iconic song.
Oh my
Look,
goodness.
did you know? I think this is the part where I wanted to talk about this. Yeah, did you know that there was a woman in the UK that played "And I Will Always Love You" on full blast on repeat for 2 weeks straight until she got arrested for it?
Whoa.
No. I also didn't know "I Will Always Love You" was a Dolly Parton song until like very recent. Swore it was just Whitney
I
Houston. Like
learned
had
that
no
in the
idea.
documentary.
You guys have probably heard it's not recent
Mhm.
news, but it's going around. Dolly Parton shopped that song to Elvis, and he
Was
liked
that
it,
in the
but
Elvis movie? I haven't seen it yet.
well, I don't know where this information came from, but the story is that Elvis really liked it, but his manager was like, if Elvis does your song, he gets all the rights. And Dolly went, nah. So she owns the rights to that
Yeah.
song. So when Whitney Houston made it triple the
Hmm.
size it had ever been, Dolly was just like, all right, so Dolly World 2 is happening.
Look, Dolly is an angel.
Dolly loved they met, and they apparently she was like, I love her, she's the
Mhm.
best, she did my song so good. I mean, you can't Dolly Parton, there are not cookout invites, there really aren't, but
Yeah, if there were, yeah.
yeah,
Like, she is 1000% an unproblematic white woman, to my knowledge. And if she ever became problematic, I'd be a little sad.
she'd ask who made the potato salad though.
Like, she sends out free books to children. Like, we signed Little Tiff up for it, and he just aged out of it. So for
That's
4 years,
crazy.
he got free books from Dolly Parton.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
like, and that's what she did with her and I Will Always Love You royalties. Thanks, Dolly and Whitney and Kevin.
And to some degree, Clive.
So now,
Yeah, and Clyde.
who's Dolly, Whitney, and Kevin out of us now? Now that we have another three people who apparently love each other so much, who's Dolly, who's Whitney, and who's
Look, I
Kevin?
really got to pontificate on
Oh.
that because, like, who's I don't know. I we'll circle
Like
back.
you don't
We'll
want to
circle back.
you don't want to ask who's Whitney, huh? You don't want to address that part. Is
Well,
that
we
it?
already know I'm Beyonce. I was laughing. Look, I was actually practicing my Beyonce impression, and I kept busting out laughing because I already have a deep voice. I couldn't. Yeah. Anyway, there's an episode of Southside where I forgot her name, but the girl cop is calling a little girl and pretend she's trying. The girl ran away from home, so she called her to try and like convince her to come back, and she was trying to pretend to be Beyonce. She said, "Hey, I'm Beyonce. This is Beyonce." But like when I tried to do it, I was just sounding like myself. Anyway, we'll circle back. We'll figure it out at the end of the episode. So then we get her performing on tour and getting married to Bobby. All right, cool. Her wedding dress was dope. And her
Yeah.
little hat. I don't know what you call that, but anyway, we get a scene with Robin and
Fascinating.
Bobby arguing over creative control or something, and Whitney breaks it up, and she's like, "Look, I need y'all both, just to show that like everything isn't hunky dory between the two," which makes sense. You know, once again, it's not right. Uh, the like you take Bobby, who he is, men already have egos, but then famous men definitely have egos. And at this point in time, you just married the baddest woman in the game, right? And how you look hearing that she has a side piece, that's also a woman. So,
Like, you married to Whitney Houston and you know Ralph Tresvant? You full of yourself.
black men, especially in this period, are very homophobic. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, it's as a people, we're not where we need to be. We're getting there. We're still not where we need to be.
Two
So
steps forward.
yeah. So back then, for sure. So like Bobby definitely felt some kind of way, right?
Mm.
So I know he hated Robin, but Robin, even if they weren't together, they're still best friends. So Robin was always in his face like, "Nah, fuck you." Oh man. But now we get a scene where now I made sure I made a note of this. Whitney's at practice, and Ricky, who they never tell you who Ricky is, but I just assume he's like the band manager, right? Tells her he wants to put together 3 big songs in one medley for her, and they don't even say what performance it is. They just say big performance, but it's the American Music Awards one, right? And he's like, "I love you, Porgy, and I'm telling you, and I have nothing." And Whitney's like, "That's crazy." And it would be climbing like one song is hard. You want me to do 3? And that'd be like climbing Mount Everest without any oxygen. Like, and but Ricky's like, "Look, I think you can do this, but if it's too hard."
No, he pulled that shit on purpose.
Man, like she was mad and like she tried it out, and but she couldn't. Or I don't know if she. It's not that she couldn't. She gave up
She,
before she really gave it an
I'm about
honest
to say, she
shot.
could not pull it off because she had to do a 12 count, a 6 count, and a 4 count. So holding a note for 12, for 6, and for 4, which is difficult in of itself.
Yeah.
Like band geeks once again.
I don't know what any of
And
this
then
means, but yeah.
what fucked her up is she's like, "You're having me hold for what is that, 24 counts in total, and then go up half an octave to get into I have nothing." And she's like, I literally don't have time. Like, I don't have the
And he's
time.
like,
I don't have the space. I
you
don't
can,
have
you
the
can take
breath.
a
He's
breath.
like, "You're fine."
We can slip in the breath
Yeah, he's like, "You
between.
can take a quick breath after me." And she's like, "Bro, the fuck."
Yeah, so she gets hot and she storms out, and Ricky's like, "You're gonna do it, and you're gonna like it." And she's like, "Whatever," and like leaves. So that, like, I had to rewind that part because I thought I was going crazy because I was like, "Well, where was the performance?" And my dumbass didn't even catch what. Like, that's why you got to trust the process, Tiffron. Once again, trust the process, right? So keeping it going. So we find out everything is in the company's name now and needs her dad's approval. Like, wasn't she trying to like fly or something? And they're like, "No, we need your dad
Yeah.
approval to use a jet." Also, there's been a time skip because now we see that Bobby Christina's in the picture, right? She's at some point she had a baby. Whitney sees Bobby Brown isn't home, and then we see her using drugs for the first time in the movie. So like that kind of like, or in this scene that set her off, and not even like real drugs, like not just the weed that we saw her using in the beginning of the movie. That's what I mean, like first time. Then the next day, Bobby comes home and she kicks him out because she found evidence that like he was cheating on her. Hey, good for you, Whitney. But that's another thing. We don't know which time this was because we know in real life they get back together and they break up. They get back together, but in the movie, technically, there's one breakup and that's it, right?
Right.
So I get that criticism, but also we don't have the time for all of that.
No.
So
They're still sprinting.
yeah, I don't really hold it against them. I get that it's weird because everyone knows that they were on again, off again. But oof, I don't. That's a movie in itself, right? Hell, that was a TV show in itself.
Absolutely.
Now we see Whitney sitting back with Clive again, another time skip, and Clive tells her she's only released 7 pop songs in 8 years, and none of them, and no albums, right? And Whitney's like, "I'm tired. All black women are tired." That was another.
Hashtag, you goddamn right. Sorry. Just had to throw that out
That was
there.
another moment
One
where
time.
I was like, "Damn, Naomi Aki's acting her ass off," because that was like how she did it was like a perfect Whitney cadence. All black women tired. And she confronts her dad about spending all the money, and he's trying to cut a deal. Or no, this is fun. So she confronts him, but he's like in like a hotel lobby or something. She just storms up, and this is another moment where she like does a boss bitch Whitney thing, and this time to a bunch of like old white dudes, and like one of the white guys was just like they're like record executives, I guess, because he's trying to cut a deal for a world tour for her, but she wants to fuss at him, so she makes everybody else leave, and before one of them leaves, he's like, "I loved you in Cinderella," and the way she stares this man in his nose, amazing. Once again,
Wasn't having it.
strong mom energy. Like, I ain't gonna say it again. Get out my face.
Like she should have said, "Of course you did."
Love June Cinderella. But yeah, he's like, I'm cutting this deal for this world tour, and when it's done, you're gonna see I'm still the boss. And Whitney tells him, I don't have a boss, but I do have a vacancy for a father, and storms out.
Ooh, cold.
Feelings hurt. Then we get to the first new song in the montage in a while. You know, we were getting a lot of those in the beginning. Where Whitney busts into Clive Davis's hotel room in the middle of the night, and starts asking for new songs. And like, they don't say it, but how Clive answers the door kind of implies like he knew she was high.
Mm-hmm.
And just
You
how
got a
she was
lot of
acting too.
energy.
Yeah, it's 2:00 in the morning. You bouncing
You
on my couch.
excited?
But this is how we see him play a sample for "It's Not Right, But It's Okay," and she's like, "Yeah, that's the one. That's the one." And so we get the montage with them in the hotel room spliced in with the music video for it. And that's another one of my well, I haven't actually said my favorite Whitney songs yet, but that's on the list. Then we see her on a world tour, which had 70 stops, which is insane. How many stops in Texas do you think she had, Tim?
I mean, there's only 4 big places to play in Texas, right?
How many? Oh, I was making a joke about the Thundercat.
Oh boy,
He on a world tour and he go to Texas 7 times.
He got a girlfriend in Texas.
Look, you must be
That's
from
what
Texas.
I'm telling you. There's a girl in Texas. I've been on tours with people. Don't look at who I've been on tour with. Never mind. I'm not gonna say anyone. No, never mind. Stop talking.
I'll cut that.
I stopped.
Going,
Move on.
I'll cut that part. I'll cut that part. We'll talk offline. You're like, I'm not trying to break up any families. Like, never mind. Oh man, yeah. So it's 70 stops. Wow, crazy. But we start to get a montage of her troubles during the tour, and everyone else, including the media, noticing like she's going through some stuff, right? And then Clive sits her down and has a come to Jesus moment. And we get a scene with Robin trying to get Whitney to get some help, but Bobby's like, nah, she's gonna stay. She's gonna still do the tour, yada yada yada. So Robin cared about her friend's health. Bobby, I guess, cared about the money. Not that he didn't care about Whitney, but he wanted her to stay on the tour, even though she won't go make it, right? And that's when Robin's like, all right, well, your dad's in the hospital. And Bobby knew, but he purposely didn't tell Whitney because he was like, I was going to tell you after the show. That was
real ratchet shit.
Yeah.
Real N-word shit, as Tim said.
Severe.
And we quote. So Whitney goes to see her dad in the hospital, and goes to see her dad in the hospital and quickly tells him that Pat is going to handle managing her, which they never establish who Pat is. Pat is her brother's wife, one of her brother's wife. Mm-hmm. And that, like,
yeah, that's correct.
And he could take it easy, but he gets angry, and he goes from telling her it's BS to let anyone else manage her because he's been doing it her whole life, and how he used to wipe her butt and all that stuff, and now she gonna need to get some good lawyers because he gonna sue for $100 million. And Whitney's like, what $100 million? We ain't got nothing. You done spent it all.
Meanwhile, some girl driving around Savannah, Georgia, like, wonder if this black car still work. It do.
She kind of says it too. She said, you only suing me or you only want $100 million or something like that so you can support your new wife. Yeah. Which, is probably true. That's probably why he was pushing a world tour.
Yeah.
Keep that golden goose producing. Then it cuts to the dad is dead now.
Whoa. Yeah, that was like abrupt.
Yeah. I mean,
you gonna learn to respect me, Whitney Houston.
Funeral.
I mean, like Tim's dog. No. He served his purpose before One Piece could even finish.
Oh,
no. Well,
Cindy's dad looking down from heaven going, ah.
Perfect.
It's unnecessary.
So So we see that Whitney didn't go to the funeral. Her mom goes to the house and finds her high as a giraffe's ass. Was that the phrase from Emergency? Or high as a giraffe's ass, and has her arrested because she gets pulled from the house by a cop, right? I don't know.
Yes.
Oof.
Not sure, but a cop dragged her out the house, and she ended up in rehab. But the good rehab at like a private
Yeah.
fancy mansion, and just some dude was there just making sure she won't messing up, right? And stayed there. She got to swim in the pool, everything. Rich people stuff.
Yeah.
So she gets out and she meets Bobby somewhere, the hotel bar or something, and she tells him the drugs were there before him, but he didn't make it any better. Then she gives him back the big ass ring. That was a big ass ring. And walks out and left him there begging again. Poor Bobby, right?
Put that ring on eBay.
Look, that jank was huge.
Whitney Houston's ring, certified pictures.
That ring probably belonged to some drug lord now. Anyway, does that mean? Sorry.
No, I mean, how much you want to bet Suge Knight was like, one of my friends gave me this, Whitney Houston's ring.
Drake got it now. Don't look at me like that.
Yeah, telling somebody how they're his best friend after he just fucked their best friend or something. I don't.
God's plan. Fast forward to 2009, and Oprah Winfrey introduces Whitney to perform. I guess it's on the Oprah show, right? And
I know she did do that.
yeah, it didn't look like the Oprah set. Like it looked bigger than it, but it was the Oprah show. So I don't know. Maybe it was a special episode they ran down the theater or something. And her mom and her daughter and Clive Davis was there, and like that was like her comeback, one of her comeback moments, right? It cuts to the next scene, and we hear on the TV that her comeback tour isn't going well. Oh yeah, she had a whole tour too, but it isn't going well, and like people walking out, like her voice isn't what it used to be. Which when you smoke and do hard drugs,
a little bit.
and like they even had some lady on the news talking about like she used to be able to, her range was so wide, and she used to be able to do this, and she can't do it anymore. And it's like.
I'd be like, bitch, shut up. Couldn't be me.
That's how Whitney was looking at the TV. So now we fast forward to 2012, and we hear that Whitney is going to perform at Clive Davis's Grammy party, or pre-Grammy party is what it was, and Clive Davis's pre-Grammy party. And she arrives at the hotel with a whole bunch of press outside asking questions and taking pictures. And when one reporter yells, "Whitney, are you going back to rehab?" and she cuts her eyes at him. And it's like, damn, why you like that?
Not nice at all.
But then she meets with Ricky, and he tells her to take it easy. Whitney wants to do the show. Wants to sing at the party, and he's like, "You're the only one who wants to sing at this party." And she's like, "Whatever, just get ready to play home." And then we see her sign an autograph.
Yeah.
And then this is when I realized, I rewound this part about 4 times. This is when I realized what was happening and why the camera focused on long hair Hanson dude for so long before. And I was like, oh,
shit.
This is
See, I caught it the first time because I'll be honest, I was trying to figure out what brand pen it was because it was so big. It was like, oh, is that like and no, it wasn't anything special, but it was a hollowed out big old fat pen.
Yeah,
it's like because it was real smooth the way she pocketed it.
I remember
I'm
those
like, she
big
out here
pens.
stealing pens.
But it's also interesting when you watch it like both times, like the fact that she pulls out a notepad, like a decent sized notepad, writes big scribble, hands him the whole notepad, but only
and she steals the pen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't cash out the first
and
time. The second time, I was like, "What?" And then you see him take money out the notepad and throw the whole book away, and I was like, "What? What?"
Because I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, "Damn, is somebody trying to set Whitney up for the kill? Like, what is happening? Her fingerprints? What is it?"
It was kind of sad though, like that. Yeah, I know that your job is, street entrepreneur slash pharmacist, but like you're not even keeping
You're not even keeping an autograph.
this that's Whitney Houston's
Yeah,
autograph.
that was another layer to that scene. Like,
Like,
you just straight
come
threw it
on.
away. Like,
To a
maybe
degree, she should be giving you an autograph for the rocks.
look. I was thinking maybe she didn't actually sign her name because one of the unlike the fourth time I rewound it, I was like, is she signing her name? I don't know. Because would that be like some sort of implication? I don't know. Maybe I was overthinking it, but
Mm,
also maybe
Fun,
like he really just
bitch,
didn't give a shit about her
real
autograph,
mm,
which is painful.
yeah.
Uh, so we get a scene with the bartender, aka Tim, telling her
money.
she's the greatest of all time, and like he's showing her so much gratitude. And I feel like this would be me, like because remember, if I had to choose somebody to save my mama by blowing down this big ass door,
Rick diggity
I'm
dip
pulling Whitney.
pull the door down, baby. Sorry.
uh, so yeah, telling her, she's the greatest of all time, and like you could tell that she accepted it, but she also felt bad because she know she's not there anymore, right?
Mm.
Because I guess that was her. I mean, that was like that.
That was 18 years ago, in
Yeah,
her
she said that
words.
was
Like,
18 years ago, and he's like, whatever, you always gonna be the greatest, and that's me. Like I don't care about the drugs, I don't care about nothing. Ain't nobody can blow down that door to save my mama like Whitney Houston. But yeah, so then we see her in the room singing in the mirror and crying. I couldn't make out what song that was, but they don't straight up show it, but they show enough to let us know that she's about to do drugs. Once again, handled very classy. And they show the bathtub faucet dripping. And they show a bathtub faucet dripping in when she was in rehab, I think.
Mm.
mm-hmm.
I did do that.
So like it's an artsy way of setting up what's to come, and as we know, she died because she got high and then she drowned in the bathtub.
And that's why Smash players don't bathe.
Yeah, so it was a really classy and artsy way of showing what's about to happen, and we knew what was about to happen, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but this whole thing was super beautiful to me, and this is why I'm gonna get into it in a second when we give our final thoughts. Like it irked me that people shat on this movie so hard because that was handled so well, and
Yeah.
then instead of it like it just ending in death and sadness, it cycles back to the beginning of the movie at the 1994 American Music Award performance, and that's also why they had that random scene in the middle with him talking about
You
the
go do it.
Ricky doing the we're going to do 3 songs. He's like, no, it can't be done. It can't be done. And so it cycles back to that moment that the bartender was talking about, where he got to see her do the impossible and perform those 3 songs back to back. And of course, as an audience, we get to see the full performance now. Now we know that like the singing in the movie is actually Whitney, which
Yeah.
of course. So it's like, God, like that really is insane. Like I can barely get through the Secret Group of Brown Kids intro without stuttering 18 times. And like Whitney has the voice of gods.
I went and I brought it up on YouTube to watch.
Mm,
Remembered seeing it, but it's been a million years. And no, like I can't think of one person that would have been able to like do that with like the gravitas and
mm,
the 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 constant daring the audience to even imagine anyone else doing
yep.
this.
And
I got chills, like full on, full
yep,
body
me too.
chills.
And this was like the 18th moment where I was like, damn, Naomi Aki is acting her ass off. Like I got so mad. Like it's like some of the memes I'm seeing, like they're not even like
Mm.
making fun of, they're not even saying that she can't act. They're just saying she doesn't look like her and that she's ugly, or they're implying that she's ugly.
She
And
looks
I'm
as
like,
much like Whitney as you would have to look for a
here's the
biopic.
thing, nobody really looks like her. And then when you make these biopics, you have to have someone who looks close enough and can act.
Yeah.
And clearly she can act. She acted her ass off. So she deserved that role. And I was blown away because I remember when I saw the trailer for it, or I remember when they announced it, I knew who she was because I saw her in, she's in the bad Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, not not Last Jedi, if you one of those folks. Love Rise of Skywalker. She's in the bad one, but and she had a really not a small part, but not a part you could do a whole lot with. And I also saw her
Wasn't
in
her part like I am also a black in space?
yeah, like hey Finn, we're both black, let's be friends. Slash, well, I don't. They didn't really. Anyway,
Hey Finn, remember how we were both slaves in space?
yeah,
Black people can't even be we can't even be autonomous in space.
it's cool that you named yourself Finn. You got a name that's not a number anymore, and I also have a name that's not a number anymore. Cool.
Are we making your friend feel awkward? We are.
Anyway, that's a different episode. But
Yes.
she was in Rise of Skywalker, worst name ever, and Idris Elba's directorial debut, Yardy, which I thought was pretty good.
Oh, I don't think I've
But
seen that.
I remember thinking like she doesn't look anything like Whitney. But then when I saw the trailer, I was like, God damn, she looks just like Whitney. And like maybe I'm crazy, but at least in the moment with the makeup and the music and the moment and like how they recreated shots that I clearly remember in my brain, I was like, oh damn, like how did they pull that off?
They did a good job with it because something I always do is I'll see one of these movies even if it's not like a musician.
Mm,
If that person can slightly replace them in your mind for
yeah,
even a little bit, I
yep.
think they did a
Mm-hmm.
good enough job.
That's a good way of putting it because that worked for me. Uh, I was like, okay, wow. Like I was really stunned when I saw the
Like that
trailer.
David Bowie one that didn't work. It don't look right. It's not enough there to work off of. It made me mad because all I could see was the wrong guy. I was like,
See, and it's a
nah.
balancing act, right? You got to have someone who looks enough, or at least get them to look enough like the person, because everyone has that person in their mind, but also be able to act. And
Yes.
it's very rare to have like the Tupac moment. So like the Tupac biopic, that dude looked just like Tupac. Like I guarantee you, he's heard it his whole life, and he probably lived his life here. And dang, Tupac's still alive. Like he looked just like Tupac, except he was short as shit. But he,
Flip that over in the Biggie one.
yeah,
Anthony Mackie had to tell you who he was, or you
wasn't
wouldn't have known.
wasn't he Puff Daddy?
He was Tupac.
He was
Anthony Mackie
Anthony
literally
Mackie
rolls up
was
and goes, "Hey y'all, I'm
oh,
Tupac." It was like, well,
freaking
you had to tell me.
Antoine Fisher was Puff Daddy in the yeah,
Yes.
anyway like Lakeith Stanfield played Snoop Dogg in Straight Outta Compton. Like you, but you don't hear people shitting on them, right? Anyway, whatever.
Gave her a hard time for being a
I'm
woman.
I'm gonna give Naomi Aki her flowers for the rest of the time because to make up for all these memes and stuff going around. Because since it's on Netflix, it's easily accessible. Everyone knows who Whitney Houston is. Folks and their families watching it, and they got shit to say. And I'm like, talk about anything
Fuck
else,
y'all.
but she did the thing
Yeah, and well, I
very
think.
well. So yeah, my uh, favorite Whitney song is "I Have Nothing." So like for them, that being at the end of the medley, I was like, look, this is too much information. Whatever, I'm putting myself out there. Sometimes like I listen to music at work, right? And that not my current job, but where I was at before, I had like a file cabinet next to my desk, so you only could see my face if I wanted you to see my face. And I'd be listening to my jams, doing my work or whatever, and I was on E shift, so there was already only like a handful of people there at a time. So I could really get into my music and my playlist, and like sometimes I get too into it. And I'm listening to Whitney one night, and like that song came on, and I like just it's not even that like the message of the song, the story of the song moved me. It's just her straight up talent, her vocal power. And I'm sitting there tearing up like, God damn, like why? Nobody can sing like this. Shit. Hope nobody's looking at me and like I'm wiping my eyes. Like that song is insane, and it's insane that a human can do that. Like Terra's feeling it. She's reliving the moment.
I'm singing it in my
Look,
head.
like I have nothing. Like I know, and I will always love you is like the go-to. and not knocking anybody whose favorite that is, Terra. I'm just saying, I Have Nothing. That's the one where she will blow down the door. Like, man, like that's her Kamehameha. Like that, like it is insane. And like
But
I
the
get
thing
like
is,
that when I really like sit and think about like people who just have like insane talent, and like I get emotional just watching them just be in their bag, just do their thing. Like Denzel is like watching Denzel do his thing, watching Whitney do her thing. Like there's a few people where they're so amazing at what they do. I'm just like, fuck. Like,
but that's the hard thing about Whitney. She has so many bangers. I Will
yeah.
Always Love You. I Have Nothing. Heartbreak Hotel.
Oh
Same
yeah,
script, different
bangers,
cast. But
bangers. I'm just saying like that
I'm
that
your
like
baby tonight.
mm.
again, makes me happy that we're not actually on video because
Oh, yeah,
like
they can't see you doing your shimmy.
I'm literally going to take a bath once I finally like put away this laundry that I gotta put
And put
away,
Whitney
and
on.
I might just like add my cue to like just a bunch of Whitney songs and literally just vibe in the tub and have a
Look,
moment.
do it, do it. Sit in the tub and cry to I Have Nothing.
I
Tears in
and
the
then think about it. I think I've actually, on more than one occasion, when somebody's like, "Oh, I want to do a Whitney Houston song karaoke," like I've had a couple people be like, "Oh, I think I could do I Have Nothing," and I'll be like, "You forgot about the key change," and they'll go, "Oh, yeah, no."
Nobody can.
No, and I'ma still do it because I've been that person, and y'all just gonna have to suffer.
Hey,
Everybody
You're
is
gonna
usually
suffer.
cruising along just fine, doing not bad. Doing what they are able. That key change comes around and just goes, "How's it going?" It's everybody's cracking.
see,
You're not making it up
I
there.
can't sing for shit. I've never done karaoke. And anytime I like joke around with friends and I pretend to sing, I just do the Quiznos rat voice.
We
Hey,
are waiting
it's
for.
Quiznos out! Because then I don't feel bad about singing the song because then I'm purposely sounding bad. You know?
Matter of fact, I'm building up my queue right
Booyah.
now. And I'm starting out the gate swinging with "You're Gonna," and I am telling you the Jennifer Hudson version, another song that I sing at karaoke disrespectfully, and I'm gonna do it anyway.
So yeah, Naomi Aki killed it. She actually has a very prominent gap, and I'm not insulting her because I got gaps in my teeth. So I guess she wore fake teeth because I was like, dang, they even like changed her teeth so it worked with the role. I think that's what really threw me off in trying to picture her as Whitney. But they just gave her some fake teeth, and it worked. Whatever. The smile was amazing.
I didn't even think about the teeth, and I did read about that.
Yeah, I think I've already explained the thing about biopics, right? Versus like why they all kind of flow the same way, and musician biopics are the same thing, and so it's already hard. They usually get judged hard because it's like, oh, another one of these, and they all flow the same way. I get it, but this one specifically also got a bad rap. So there's the she doesn't look enough like Whitney. Ashton Sanders. Okay, we get into Ashton Sanders now. They're shitting on him. It's like, really? They got the RZA to to do Bobby Brown. This is the worst casting ever. Yada yada yada. And here's my thing with Ashton Sanders. I thought he did 80% good. The scene in the limo, he forgot who he was, and RZA came out,
Yes.
and it was real prominent. I was like, y'all couldn't cut that. Like nobody caught that he like it wasn't even his normal
Mm-mm.
speech cadence. It was RZA, which he acts in. If you don't know, he plays the RZA in the Hulu Wu Tang show,
Yes.
and I don't watch it, but I hear he does a great job. It just that character jumped out through Bobby Brown, but outside of that, I think he only did it maybe one other time. It kind of I can't remember the other part. I think I heard it come out, but anyway, other than that, I thought he was doing a good Bobby Brown.
He didn't do
But
too bad.
because he fucked up and RZA came out like a like the stink meaner demon, Look, that's all people are going to remember. And I'm sorry, Ashton, but that's it. And the other problem is they don't know him as anybody other than, and I'm just talking about just the general audience, black folk. They only seen him in as RZA or the kid from The Equalizer 2 that Denzel helps out.
Yes.
They haven't seen him in Moonlight. They haven't seen him
Mm.
in Native
Oh,
Son. Yeah,
yeah.
he was the middle
Cool.
he was the middle one in Moonlight. They haven't seen him in Native Son. He's a really good actor, but he's one of those actors where he's always going to sound like himself for the most part, like Denzel. Denzel can act his ass off, but Denzel will always not will, but always kind of sounds like Denzel. Like that Mount Vernon accent is always there, right? That's how Ashton Sanders is. He always kind of sounds like himself. Even though he's acting, he's a different character. That speech cadence is still kind of ingrained in him. Now, it kind of changes a bit when he does RZA. But so the folks who only know him as those two characters, for him to mess up and that RZA to jump out, that's all they're going to remember.
It's
That's
gonna
all
be
they're going to take
obvious.
from it. So when he was Bobby, like in the Soul Train Music Awards scene, when they first meet him, I was like, oh, he's doing a good Bobby. Like, why are people mad at him? And then in the limo scene, I was like, dang, like
Oh,
RZA jumped out. Like that's Staten Island, not even Staten Island, just RZA.
yeah.
He has like a, do I say speech impediment? Like I don't know what you call that, but that RZA jumped out. Uh, that mathematics. Hey RZA, there was a math problem. Well, if Susie uh took her little sister to the store, then Whitney Houston won a Grammy. Da, 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 da. Like, anyway. So poor Ashton Sanders. I thought he was a good cast. He had that goof up, and then that just kind of ruined it
Yeah.
for him.
It'll take you out.
Yeah, that's what it did. It took you out, and folks don't forget. So that was unfortunate. But they're going to act like he's a bad actor from now on, which is not the case. And they're not going to watch any of the good things he's in. Like it's like, oh, here's the dude who ruined Bobby Brown kind of thing. Like that's
He
unfortunate.
was Bobby in it so little, so
Yeah, like
they slightly footnoted Bobby.
whereas I haven't seen it. I think Terra, did you say you saw the 2015 Lifetime version?
I want to say I did, but I probably no, I didn't because it's Lifetime. Therefore, by proxy, I kind of
I
refuse some
got
of
you.
their stuff. Just
I saw one criticism on that one. There was many, but one was that it painted Bobby as an angel, and it was Bobby's. It was more of a Bobby
Yeah,
movie than a Whitney.
it's like my
So
friend.
dang. Anyway, so this one probably did it on purpose to leave him out a little bit more. Anyway, so okay, so those two criticisms, and finally, I have to preface this: the film community does this thing where they dogpile a lot, right? And I'm not saying everybody in the film community does it, but it happens enough that it's significant and it's worth mentioning. Where one person messes up and then that drags everybody else down, right? So the year Bohemian Rhapsody came out, that was the anytime there's like in award season, there's usually a villain movie where
mm,
they film community knows it's probably going to win, but nobody wants it to win. And that year was Bohemian Rhapsody. And I watched Bohemian Rhapsody and I thought it was good. Did it warrant to be the top dog? Probably not. Definitely not. Definitely not. But it was good, especially for a musician biopic, right? But what happened was it was directed by Bryan Singer, who, if you don't know, he directed like the X-Men movies and stuff like that. I'm not going to say he got Me Too'd. That's not the right way to say that, but he's definitely a villain on the Me Too list. Basically, some real predator shit, like he throw parties and abused young guys. Yeah, stuff like that. I don't know verbatim, but it's in that realm, right? So
Right.
here he is making a movie, an Oscar movie, after all these allegations and stuff came to light. So they're like, fuck this guy, and by proxy, fuck this movie. So that's why Bohemian Rhapsody was the kind of the villain that year. Even though it was decent, people liked it, and I think it won some awards. It got tainted because of that. I feel like it wasn't as bad as they made it out to be, but because of Bryan Singer, and then of course because they already deemed that this movie is shit. The person who wrote it is also shit, and he's also the
Mm.
writer of this. So with every when I read through reviews for Whitney, not the documentary, I Want to Dance with Somebody, the movie, almost all the like reviews are like comparing it to Bohemian Rhapsody and saying it's
Mm.
just like that, paint by the numbers. But the thing is, all of them are paint by the numbers. One,
Yeah.
two, neither was as bad as y'all are making out to be, because I think it's that association effect kind of pulling it down a bit. Because once again, look at the critics' score is 44, and the critics are film community folk, and the audience score is 92. But once again, it's all musician biopics or nostalgia plays, so naturally the audience score is going to be that high too. But that
Mm.
explains the difference to me. And I just wanted
Yes,
to talk about that.
I think that's fair. Worth bringing that up.
Yeah. Anything I missed though?
I
No.
don't think so.
Yeah. Final thoughts, more detailed thoughts, unless we already done shared it, which is usually the case. I'm learning.
One thing that I know I really liked, because ironically, I was having this conversation like a month or so ago, a couple months ago, but before I watched this movie, is like how a lot of Whitney's, let's just broadly stroke and say queer identity, has been like wiped out
Oh
in
yeah, I did want to talk
history.
about this.
And so the fact that they made it pretty damn apparent, like in this movie, that her and Robin had a thing, and like we'll again kind of broad stroke and say at best, let's say she was pansexual or bisexual or whatever, or queer, what have you, that was far more at the forefront, and how it just really sucked that that has been overlooked for as many years as it was, because also for anybody who hangs out in the queer community, Whitney is a big deal. Like,
Absolutely.
you go to your drag shows, whatever else in
I
between. Like,
think
the gals love Britney. Oh, excuse me, Whitney.
I think that's another reason why the movie's getting shat on,
Mm.
and specifically from the black community, because they were never with the Whitney's gay thing. Like,
Mm.
that's why the documentary almost got buried, because that was the first time that they addressed it head on, and it was co-signed by somebody from her camp.
Mm.
So there's that, but nobody was really fucking with the documentary like that. Like, it wasn't like an expose or anything. They just talked about it, and then this movie did the same thing essentially. But I think the same folks from her camp that were involved in the documentary involved in the movie. So I think that
Yeah.
still plays a part, because, like I said, as a community, we're not where we need to be,
We
but
suck.
we're further along. We're still getting there. Yeah,
But no, I enjoyed seeing that because I did learn a lot about just like that part of her life again that I feel like wasn't really a thing. Um, Especially not talked about when we were
yeah.
kids
I
or
remember my
whatever. So
mom saying, "Yeah, they did used to say that Whitney was gay." I was like,
yeah,
when she was, at her peak, at least when I was a kid, I know what nothing was. So
facts. But no, otherwise, like I said, I appreciate how tastefully they handled a lot of the tragic and traumatic things that were a part of her life, because they could have really just been straight
yeah, straight
assholes
messy
about it.
about it, but they
And
were real artsy
Absolutely.
and classy with it.
mhm. So big kudos to the actors, the writers, like literally everyone involved, because yeah.
Yeah, Tim.
Agreed. Like, it was good to see certain parts of, like, I don't remember as a child knowing that the black community was being weird toward her. More than likely it was connected to her queerness, and didn't even know about the queerness to begin with. It kind of
At
puts
first,
another
it was the
facet of who
whiteness,
she
then
was.
it was
Yeah.
the queerness.
First, they came for us because we were too white. Then they came for us because we were too queer.
Yeah.
Then they came for us for those reasons exactly. Well,
Yeah. All right. Well.
no, good is well done.
Okay. You know what time it is. Ratings. Tim, you go.
Mine is clearly just directly what I recommend it. I feel like if somebody was big on the documentary style pieces like this, I don't know if I would recommend it because it is, like you said, kind of by the numbers. But if somebody was
If
into music and wanted to learn more about Whitney Houston, they want to like kind of visit that era of
mm,
music, it'd be a good thing to watch.
yeah, the if you were not a fan of biopics, or if you just want the information instead of the presentation,
Hmm.
then watch the 2018 documentary Whitney.
Yeah.
Uh, if you were cool with the entertainment factor, so it plays like a movie, this will do. But if you hate biopics, then you know you're gonna hate this. Terra,
I liked it. Usually I rate it as a Naruto
keep it
character.
going.
I couldn't think of a character because I actually legitimately have been, and I'm like, it was a what I say? I'm gonna say it's Jiraiya. It was a
Oh,
good watch.
okay.
Like it had a good run, it had good pacing, like everything made sense. As someone who just doesn't really watch movies as a whole, I'm not someone to be like, oh, biopics suck or whatever. But as someone who grew
Give
up
this
like
podcast a
during
couple
the
years.
time
I think you're gonna be sticking
of
way out. We talk about how
I
much you're a
know for sure.
cinephile.
I know. But as someone who did grow up like while Whitney was still with us and like was dropping singles, it was nice to be an adult and look back on her life and understand things and like bop to the music. Because I definitely was bopping to the music. I will say if you like music, it's probably a great like movie
What
for
was your
you
favorite
because
music bit? Like, I know they almost all
uh
kind of did like splicing with the music videos whenever they did it.
I I will say that I enjoyed the national anthem. Like no one
Heck
has done a
yes.
national anthem like her
That's true.
since. And like chills for me not to fuck with, all that good jazz, but she sang the fuck out of it.
Yeah,
Well, well, well defined. It is absolutely the standard.
I will give this somewhere between the 7 and the 8. Like it's, I think 7 is good, 8 is great. 7.5. It's. I thought it was really good. They handle it well. I love the artsy take they give certain aspects of it. Like I told you, the starting at the beginning and then finishing at the end. Obviously, that's but you know what I mean. Like the American Music Award performance at
Yes.
the beginning, and then you cycling it back to it at the end. Because in the music biopic, you have to end on a big performance, and that is one hell of a performance, right? So it gave me chills. It did what it set out to do.
It's the
Is it
one.
gonna win a bunch of awards? Probably not. I liked it better than Bohemian Rhapsody, but I'm not even about to go down that road. Yeah, I'd buy it for the DVD collection.
Ooh, yeah.
All right. Also, I'm obviously biased, so like
A little bit.
Whitney's my favorite. Yeah, so that's Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody. Thanks for listening, guys. You guys got any plugs? Anything going on?
Just for me, still doing D&D Sluggers. Come by the Instagram or the Patreon and see what I do with my old album, Hot Banana. This is actually the first I've said anything about, but I'm redoing the entire Hot Banana album with all
Amazing.
my new stuff, and
I
I don't
love
know,
Hot
maybe
Banana.
if things work like they're supposed to, I might be doing a live performance that will be available to possibly stream or buy or what have you.
Is it
Not
at the
sure
American
how.
Music Awards?
Unfortunately, and I don't think that Ricky is available to help me like round off the edges and get it right. So we'll just have to see what
It's
happens.
going to
do
be
do a
the
3-song
the
medley.
2024. It's going to be the 2024. 30 years later, Tim's back.
Look,
Okay.
And I got a big pen from Taylor Hanson.
do the shit. Do a 3-song medley and end it with a fight. Uh,
Ooh,
anyway, uh, so you heard it here, folks. Tim has a big pen from Hanson.
DD Sluggers, big pen from Taylor Hanson.
Uh,
Banana.
Tara.
I'm still just out here thugging it. I have nothing to plug.
Thug.
Life. All right.
Back.
Don't follow me personally unless it's on Letterbox. At Tiffzilla on Letterbox, and you can follow the podcast on Twitter at SGBK Podcast. I only post every time there's a new episode because no one's actually talking to us yet. But one day we'll get there. You know what? We got to
Right
give
on.
Big Jesus and Meryl energy just from the jump. Just be like our illustrious guests, and we're the greatest podcast at late night or whatever, and eventually it'll happen, right?
Y'all already know who this is.
You already know. All right. Good night, folks.
Take care.
Bye.